Captain Olivia Grant stood at the window of the USS Defender. Her ship floated in space near Mars. Stars shone in the black space around them. She rubbed her tired eyes. 5 days without proper sleep had left dark circles under them. "Captain, we have a message coming in," said Peter Donovan from his communications desk. His hands shook slightly as he worked the controls. "Who is it from?" asked Olivia, already guessing the answer. "The Galactic Council, ma'am." The room went quiet. Everyone on the bridge stopped what they were doing and looked up. "Put it on the main screen," said Olivia, standing straighter and fixing her uniform. The large screen at the front of the bridge lit up. The face of High Counselor Zexitara filled the screen. He was a tall alien with green, scaly skin and yellow eyes with narrow, black slits for pupils. His mouth was wider than a human's with 2 rows of small, sharp teeth. "Captain Grant," said Zexitara in his strange, 2-toned voice that seemed to come from 2 throats at once. "Your time is up." Olivia kept her face calm. "High Counselor, Earth has made its position clear. We wish to join the galactic community as equals, not as servants." Zexitara's yellow eyes narrowed. "Equals? Your species only learned to leave your planet 50 years ago. You are children playing with dangerous toys. Children who created the quantum shield technology that your council now wants," Olivia replied. She knew this was their only bargaining chip. "A lucky discovery," hissed the alien leader. "One you are not ready to control." Olivia took a step closer to the screen. "Is that why you've moved your warships to the edge of our solar system? To take what you want by force?" The bridge crew looked at each other with worried faces. This was news to them. "You have been watching us," Zexitara said, showing no surprise. "Good. Then you know what will happen if you continue to refuse." "We will not give up our right to defend ourselves," said Olivia firmly. "Earth will not surrender its military. Freedom to join your council." Zexitara leaned forward, his face filling more of the screen. "Then listen carefully, Captain Grant. You have 24 Earth hours to change your mind and hand over your ship along with all quantum shield plans. If you refuse, we will attack not just your ship, but your home planet as well." "You would start a war over this?" asked Olivia, her heart beating faster but her voice steady. "It would not be a war, Captain. It would be a simple crushing of insects who do not know their place." The alien's voice grew colder. 24 hours. Then your planet will learn what happens to those who defy the Council." The screen went black. For a moment no one spoke. The only sounds were the quiet beeps and hums of the ship's equipment. "Can they really attack Earth?" asked Mary Holden, a young officer at the navigation station. Her face had gone pale. Engineer Joe Martinez spoke up from his station. "Their ships have weapons we've never seen before, and there are 7 of them. But they want our quantum shield technology," said First Officer Daniel Wright, a tall man with broad shoulders. "They wouldn't destroy what they're trying to get." Science Officer Kate Summers shook her head. Her short blonde hair caught the light as she moved. "They don't need to destroy everything, just enough to make Earth surrender." Olivia walked to the center of the bridge. All eyes followed her. "What are your orders, Captain?" asked Daniel. Olivia thought for a moment. The Defender was Earth's newest and most advanced ship, but it was just one ship against 7 alien warships. The odds were terrible. "We need to buy time for Earth," she said finally. "We can't fight them all directly." "So we're running?" asked Tactical Officer Sam Reeves, looking disappointed. "No," said Olivia with a small smile. "We're going to show them that humans don't follow the expected path." She pressed a button on the arm of her captain's chair. "This is Captain Grant speaking to all crew members. The Galactic Council has given us an ultimatum. They want us to give up our ship and our technology. They want Earth to surrender its independence." She paused, looking around at her bridge crew. "They think we will choose to save ourselves. They think we will bow to their demands when threatened. They are wrong." Olivia walked to the main control panel and began entering coordinates. Throughout human history, we have faced enemies who were bigger, stronger, and better armed, and time after time we have found ways to win against impossible odds. The ship's engines began to power up. The crew felt the slight vibration through the floor. I won't lie to you, this will be dangerous. We are one ship against 7. But we have advantages they don't know about. We have our determination. We have our creativity. And we have a plan. Daniel moved closer to her. What exactly is the plan, Captain? Olivia's eyes lit up with a fierce look. First, we're going to disappear. Then we're going to make them chase us. And finally, we're going to turn their strength against them. She turned to face the whole bridge crew. I need everyone at their best. I need you to remember what we're fighting for. Not just our lives, but the freedom of our entire planet. The ship's alarm began to sound, a rhythmic pattern that meant battle stations. They expect us to run toward Earth for protection, said Olivia. Instead, we're heading deeper into the solar system. Sam, set course for Jupiter's moons. We can use their magnetic fields to hide our signature. Yes, Captain, said Sam, quickly working at his station. Olivia looked out at the stars. Again, they had seemed so beautiful and full of promise when humanity first began exploring space. Now they held a deadly threat. The Council thinks they know humans, she said quietly. They think we're predictable. But they've never faced a species that thrived on beating the odds the way we have. She straightened her uniform and took her place in the captain's chair. All stations, prepare for high-speed burn. Let's show these aliens what humans can do when our backs are against the wall. As the USS Defender's engines fired to full power, Olivia felt a strange calm come over her. The odds were against them in every way. The enemy had better technology, more ships and more experience in space battles. But they had underestimated the human spirit, and that would be their first mistake. Hang on, everyone, she said as the ship accelerated. This is just the beginning. The USS Defender floated silently near one of Jupiter's moons. The giant planet's swirling colors filled the view from the bridge windows. Captain Olivia Grant and her officers stood around the main table looking at a 3D map showing the 7 alien ships that had entered the solar system. They're coming this way, said Sam Reeves, pointing to the red dots moving toward Jupiter. All 7 council ships are following us, just as you predicted, Captain. Olivia nodded, her face serious. How long until they reach us? About 3 hours, answered Daniel Wright, the first officer. They're being careful, moving slowly. That gives us time to prepare our trap, said Olivia. The ship had been hiding for nearly 10 hours, using the moon's shadow to stay hidden from the alien fleet. The crew was tired but alert, knowing that the fate of Earth might depend on what they did next. They still think we're running scared, said Engineer Joe Martinez with a small smile. Little do they know we're planning to bite back. Kate Summers, the science officer, looked up from her screen. Captain, I've been studying the data we have on council ships. I found something interesting about their weapons systems. What is it? Asked Olivia. Their ships are connected to their crews through a neural link, Kate explained, using simple hand motions to help everyone understand. It helps them target weapons very quickly, almost like the ship is part of their bodies. How does that help us? Asked Daniel. Kate's eyes lit up with excitement. It means all their ships think together like one brain. When one ship sees something, they all react to it at the same time. Olivia suddenly understood. So if we can trick one ship, we can trick them all, finished Kate. Olivia smiled for the first time in days. That's exactly the advantage we need. She turned to Joe. I need to know how hard we can push our engines. If we overload them to 120% power, what happens? Joe scratched his beard. We'd burn out most systems within 3 minutes. The ship would be dead in space. But what if we redirect power through the backup cooling systems? Asked Kate. Joe thought for a moment. It might work. It would give us maybe 2 more minutes before everything shuts down. 5 minutes, said Olivia, nodding. That's all we need. Sam looked confused. 5 minutes for what, Captain? Olivia pointed to different spots on the 3D map. Here's what we're going to do. We'll hide in Jupiter's magnetic field right here where it's strongest. When the council ships get close enough, they'll think we're making our stand here. She moved her finger across the map. Then we'll fire our gravity disruptors at these points in space around them. The gravity waves will mess with their sensors, and more importantly, with their neural links. While they're confused, we'll push our engines to maximum and make a fast jump to Saturn's rings. Saturn's rings? Asked Daniel, looking surprised. That's halfway across the solar system. Exactly, said Olivia. They won't expect it, and the ice and rocks in Saturn's rings will give us cover to hide and fight on our terms. Sam studied the plan. It's risky, Captain. If the gravity disruptors don't affect their neural links as much as we hope, then we'll be running at top speed toward Saturn with 7 angry council ships behind us, Olivia finished. I know it's risky, but fighting them head-on is certain death. The bridge was quiet as everyone thought about the plan. There's one more thing, said Olivia. We need to make sure they follow us to Saturn. Why wouldn't they? Asked Joe. We'll be running away. Because their main goal is to get our technology and make Earth surrender, explained Olivia. They might decide it's better to head for Earth while we're far away. She turned to Kate. How close are you to understanding their communication system? Kate looked excited. I've almost figured out their basic signals. I could probably send a simple message in their format. Perfect, said Olivia. I want you to create a message that will make them so angry they'll forget about going to Earth. They'll want to catch us first. What should the message say? Asked Kate. Olivia's face turned serious. Tell them that we've discovered the truth about the Galactic Council. Tell them we know they aren't the fair leaders they claim to be, but bullies who have been conquering weaker planets for centuries. And tell them we have proof that we're ready to send to every species in the galaxy. Daniel whistled softly. That would certainly get their attention. Will they believe it? Asked Sam. That's the best part, said Olivia with a grim smile. It's actually true. Kate found records in their own database that prove it. We'll include just enough real evidence in our message to make them believe we have more. She stood up straight and looked at each of her officers. I know this plan is dangerous. I know the odds are against us, but I believe in this ship, and I believe in this crew. Together we can do what the Council thinks is impossible. Over the next 3 hours, the crew prepared. Kate worked on the special message. Joe set up the engine modifications. Sam programmed the gravity disruptors to fire in a pattern that would cause maximum confusion. When the alien ships were just 20 minutes away, Olivia called the entire crew over the ship's speakers. This is your captain speaking. The Council fleet is approaching. Soon we will put our plan into action. I want everyone to know that no matter what happens next, you have already made Earth proud. She took a deep breath and continued. The aliens think humans are weak because we're new to space. They think we'll give up when faced with a stronger enemy. But they don't know our history. They don't know how many times humans have beaten impossible odds throughout our past. As she spoke, the crew at their stations sat up straighter, their faces more determined. Today we carry the hopes of everyone on Earth. Today we show the galaxy what humans can do when pushed into a corner. Stand ready at your stations. Trust your training. Trust each other. The red dots on the map moved closer. The Council ships had entered Jupiter's orbit and were spreading out, searching for the Defender. They're scanning the area, reported Peter from his communications station. They haven't spotted us yet. Wait until all 7 ships are in position, ordered Olivia, her voice calm despite the tension. Minutes ticked by. The alien ships moved closer, their search pattern bringing them near the Defender's hiding spot. Now, Kate, said Olivia. Send the message. Kate pressed a button, sending their prepared message to all 7 Council ships at once. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then Peter's console lit up. Captain, they're responding with threats. A lot of threats. The message worked, they're furious. All ships are changing course, reported Sam. They're heading straight for us, weapons powering up. Wait for it, said Olivia, watching the map closely. Wait until they're all committed to their attack. Run. The 7 Council ships moved in perfect formation, accelerating toward the moon where the Defender hid. Now, shouted Olivia. Fire gravity disruptors and prepare for maximum acceleration. The ship shuddered as the special weapons fired. sending waves of distorted gravity toward the approaching alien fleet. On the screen, they could see the enemy ships suddenly wobble and drift off course. "It's working," shouted Kate. "Their neural links are disrupted." "Full power to engines," ordered Olivia. "Set course for Saturn." The Defender shot out from behind the moon, its engines glowing bright blue as it pushed to 120% power. Behind them, the Council ships were still struggling to recover from the gravity attack. "They're trying to regroup," reported Sam. "Two ships are giving chase, but the others are still confused." Olivia smiled as the stars blurred around them. Part 1 of her plan had worked. Now they just had to reach Saturn before the aliens recovered, and before their own engines burned out. "Hold. Together," she whispered to her ship as it raced through space. Just a little longer. The USS Defender drifted slowly among the ice chunks in Saturn's rings. Captain Olivia Grant had positioned the ship inside the thickest ring, where the ice and rocks would help hide them from the alien fleet. "All systems on low power," reported Joe from his engineer's station. His face looked tired in the dim emergency lighting. "They won't be able to spot us easily." Olivia nodded. Their mad dash from Jupiter had worked, but it had been close. The ship's engines were badly damaged, and they had barely made it to Saturn before losing power. Now they waited in the darkness like a hunter hiding in tall grass. "How long until the Council ships get here?" she asked. Sam checked his screen. "About 30 minutes, Captain. All 7 are still following us." "Good," said Olivia. "Our message made them angry enough to chase us instead of going to Earth." Daniel walked over to her chair. "The ship can't take another run like that," he said quietly. "Whatever we do next has to work." Olivia knew he was right. The Defender was hurt. If they tried to run again, they wouldn't get far. "We're not running anymore," she said. "This is where we make our stand." Kate joined them, holding a small data device. "Captain, I've finished putting together all the evidence about the Council's true activities. It's shocking how many planets they've bullied or conquered. Can we send this information to other species in the galaxy?" asked Olivia. Kate nodded. "Yes, but we'd need to use the Council's own communication network. We'd have to hack into their system, which means getting close to their command ship," said Olivia, understanding the challenge. "Very close." The bridge was quiet as everyone thought about what that meant. The Council's command ship was the biggest of the 7 vessels hunting them. Getting close enough to hack into it would be extremely dangerous. "I've modified one of our torpedoes," said Joe. "It won't cause much damage, but it will emit a pulse that should disrupt their neural network for about 40 seconds. 40 seconds isn't much time," said Daniel, frowning. "It's all we'll have," replied Olivia. "Here's the plan. We'll stay hidden until the Council ships are searching through the rings. Their formation will have to break up to cover more area. When they do, we'll target their command ship with Joe's special torpedo. The moment their neural network goes down, we'll move in close and broadcast Kate's evidence files through their own system." "What if the torpedo doesn't work?" asked Sam. "Then we fight," said Olivia simply. "We use the rings for cover and hit them however we can for as long as we can." She looked around at her crew. They were scared. She could see it in their eyes. But they were ready. "This isn't just about saving Earth anymore," she told them. "It's about helping all the other planets that the Council has been pushing around. If we can expose their lies, we might free dozens of worlds from their control." Over the ship's speaker, Peter's voice came from the communications room. "Captain, the Council ships have entered Saturn's orbit. They're spreading out to search the rings." "All crew to battle stations," ordered Olivia. "But stay quiet. Let them come to us." The minutes ticked by slowly. On the main screen, they watched as the alien ships moved through Saturn's beautiful rings, their scanning beams cutting through the darkness like searchlights. "They're getting closer," whispered Daniel, as if the aliens might hear him through the vacuum of space. "Hold position," said Olivia calmly. "Wait until their command ship is in the perfect spot." The largest Council ship slowly moved past a large chunk of ice, coming into clear view of the Defender's weapons. "Target locked," reported Sam. "The command ship is in range." Olivia took a deep breath. Fire-modified torpedo. The ship shuddered slightly as the torpedo launched, speeding silently through the darkness toward the alien command ship. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then a bright flash lit up space as the torpedo hit its target. "Direct hit," shouted Sam. "The pulse is working. Their systems are going crazy." "All power to engines," ordered Olivia. "Move us in close. Peter, prepare to broadcast on all their frequencies." The Defender's engines roared to life as the ship shot out from its hiding place. The Council ships, momentarily confused by the loss of their neural network, reacted slowly. By the time they started to turn toward the human vessel, the Defender was already racing toward their command ship. 20 seconds left before their neural network comes back online, warned Joe. "Almost there," said Olivia. "Peter, start the broadcast now." "Broadcasting on all Council frequencies," reported Peter, sending Kate's evidence files to every ship and station in their network. On the screen, they could see the Council ships starting to recover, their weapons beginning to move toward the Defender. 10 seconds, said Joe. Come on, muttered Olivia. "Broadcast complete," shouted Peter excitedly. "The files are out. They can't stop them now." "Get us out of here," ordered Olivia, "back into the rings." Sam fired the thrusters, sending the ship diving back into the thick section of Saturn's rings just as energy beams from the Council ships sliced through the space they had occupied seconds before. "They're shooting at each other," Kate exclaimed, pointing at the screen. Some of the Council ships had started firing at the command ship instead of at the Defender. "What's happening?" asked Daniel. Peter listened to his headset. "Captain, we're picking up communications from within the Council fleet. The crews of some ships are questioning their commanders. They're arguing among themselves." Olivia smiled. The truth was doing exactly what she'd hoped, creating doubt and confusion among the aliens who had been kept in the dark by their leaders. "Incoming transmission from the Council command ship," announced Peter. "Put it through," said Olivia, straightening her uniform. The screen lit up, but instead of High Counselor Zexatera, a younger reptilian officer appeared. His uniform showed he was second in command. "This is Subcommander Vexaloran of the Council Defense Force," he said. His voice sounded uncertain. "We request that you stop firing while we check the information you have sent." Olivia stepped forward. "This is Captain Olivia Grant of Earth. We haven't fired a shot at you. Some of your own ships have turned against their commanders after learning the truth." The alien's eyes narrowed. "If what you have sent is true, then the High Council has lied to all of us, even their own military." "It is true," said Olivia confidently. "Check it for yourself. The evidence comes from your own records." The screen was silent for a moment. Then Vexaloran spoke again. "We will stand down our weapons while we verify this information. If these documents are real, many things will have to change. That's all we ask," said Olivia. "That you look at the evidence and make your own decision." As the transmission ended, the bridge crew looked at each other with cautious hope. "Did we just win?" asked Joe in disbelief. Daniel shook his head. "Not yet. They still have to accept the truth, and the High Council won't give up power easily. But we've done what seemed impossible," said Olivia, looking at the screen where the Council ships now floated motionless, no longer firing their weapons. "We've cracked their unity. We've made them question their leaders." She walked to the window and looked out at Saturn's beautiful rings shining in the sunlight. "For now we wait. The truth is our strongest weapon, and we've just fired it right into the heart of the Council." Kate smiled. "Not bad for one small ship from a primitive planet." "That's the thing about us humans," said Olivia. "We may be new to space, but we've been fighting against bullies for our entire history, and we've learned a few tricks along the way." As they watched, 3 of the Council ships moved away from the command ship, taking positions that suggested they were no longer following orders from their leaders. The fight wasn't over, but for the first time since the crisis began, there was real hope, not just for Earth, but for all the worlds living under the Council's thumb. 1 month had passed since the battle at Saturn. Captain Olivia Grant stood in a large round room on the neutral planet Axion Prime. This was the main meeting hall of the Galactic Council. The ceiling was very high, and the walls were made of a shiny blue material that seemed to glow from within. Olivia felt small in this huge space, but she stood tall and proud in her Earth uniform. Her crew, Daniel, Kate, Sam, Joe, and Peter, stood behind her, also in their best uniforms. They had all been invited to this special meeting of the new Provisional Council. Representatives from over 40 different alien species filled the room. Many of them were looking at the humans with curiosity. Some even showed respect in their alien ways. Captain Grant called a tall, elegant woman named Mira Ndile. She was from a planet that had been one of Earth's first allies in space. Now she was the leader of the new Provisional Council that had replaced the old corrupt one. Please step forward. Olivia walked to the center of the room where a circular platform glowed softly. She could feel hundreds of eyes watching her. The Provisional Council has reviewed what happened at Saturn, said Mira, in a clear voice that carried throughout the hall. We have studied the actions of you and your crew aboard the USS Defender. Olivia heard whispers when the name of her ship was mentioned. The Defender had become famous across many worlds in just a few weeks. According to the old Council's laws, Mira continued, you broke several rules. You interfered with Council business. You broadcast on restricted channels. You caused a division within the Council fleet. The room was very quiet now. Olivia kept her face calm, though she wondered what punishment they might give her. These actions would normally be punished severely, said Mira. Olivia saw Daniel start to step forward to protest, but she gave him a small signal to wait. However, Mira's voice softened slightly. We are no longer following the old ways. The Provisional Council recognizes that your actions, while breaking some rules, served a greater good. You revealed a truth that needed to be told. A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing the USS Defender in orbit around Earth. You defied the Galactic Council not out of selfishness or rebellion, but because you saw something wrong, and chose to stand against it even at great risk to yourselves, said Mira. In doing so, you reminded all of us what the Council was meant to be. Not a tool to control others, but a way for different worlds to work together as equals. Another Council member stepped forward. Olivia recognized him as Vexaloran, the reptilian officer who had spoken to her during the battle at Saturn. He now wore the uniform of a full commander. The Defense Force admits that we were used by the old Council to bully weaker planets, he said formally. We owe a debt to Captain Grant and her crew for showing us the truth about our leaders. Olivia nodded politely to him, remembering their tense conversation during the standoff. Mira raised her hand to speak again. Therefore, the Provisional Council has decided to drop all charges against Captain Olivia Grant and the crew of the USS Defender. Furthermore, we invite Earth to join the Galactic Coalition, not as a new member with limited rights as the old Council wanted, but as a full Ayer partner with equal standing. The room filled with applause and various sounds of approval from the different species. Olivia felt Daniel's hand on her shoulder, a quiet gesture of pride in what they had accomplished. There is one more thing, said Mira when the noise died down. The old Council kept their best technology secret from newer worlds, claiming it was to protect their cultures. But the real reason was to stay more powerful than them. The Provisional Council has voted to end this practice. We will share clean energy and medical technology with all member worlds, including Earth. As Mira explained more about the new era of cooperation, Olivia looked back at her crew. Kate's eyes were bright with excitement at the thought of all the new science Earth would now have access to. Sam and Joe exchanged proud looks. Peter smiled widely, already thinking about the stories he would tell someday. Later, after the meeting, Olivia stood alone in a viewing room looking out at Axion Prime's 2 moons. The larger moon was a pale yellow, while the smaller one glowed, a soft blue. They made a beautiful sight against the dark sky. Beautiful view, said Daniel as he joined her by the window. Worth all the trouble? Olivia smiled, a real, relaxed smile this time. The view is nice, but that's not what we fought for. No, he agreed. We fought for Earth's right to make its own choices, for truth instead of lies, and for the idea that being powerful doesn't make you right, she added. Sometimes the so-called primitive species might have something to teach the advanced ones. They stood quietly for a while, watching the moons move slowly across the sky. "What happens now, Captain?" Daniel asked. Olivia's eyes moved from the moons to the distant stars. They no longer seemed threatening or alien. Now they looked full of promise. "Now we explore," she said simply, "not as servants or as masters, but as equals. We learn and teach and grow." She turned to her friend and first officer. "And we remember what got us here. Not just our technology or clever plans, but our courage to stand up for what's right, even when everything seemed against us." As they walked back to join their crew, Olivia thought about everything they had been through. One ship against 7, one captain against a council, one crew willing to risk everything for what they believed was right. The odds had been terrible, but humans had a long history of beating bad odds. Throughout their time on Earth, humans had faced stronger enemies, harder challenges, and seemingly impossible situations, and found ways to overcome them. That was the lesson the Galactic Council had learned. That was the story that was now being told on planets across the galaxy. The story of a small ship from a young world that stood up to the most powerful force in the galaxy and won. "You know," said Daniel as they reached the door where the rest of the crew waited, "I think this is just the beginning of humanity's story in the stars." Olivia nodded. "And it's already a good one." Together they rejoined their crew, ready to return to the Defender and begin the next chapter of their journey among the stars. Not as outsiders fighting for survival, but as respected members of a new and better galactic community. A community that Earth had helped create through courage, determination, and an unwillingness to give up even against the longest odds. End of story.